Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a very exciting video. Sydney Grace was so kind and they sent me their Be Mine eyeshadow palette. So if you guys are interested in seeing some eye looks, some swatches, comparisons, and hearing my first impression thoughts, then just keep watching. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Karen Harris. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on my channel. I do post quite often. I think I'm gonna end up posting pretty much every day this week because there's a ton of new eyeshadow palettes launching this week. If you love new eyeshadow palettes and new makeup in general, this is the place for you. Highly recommend subscribing, turning on that bell so you're notified every time I post. And without further blabbering, let's get into it. Okay, I'm so excited because this package was not expected. I knew Sydney Grace was launching something new, and I do get PR from them, but I don't know why in my brain I was like, oh, I need to remember to buy that palette. And lo and behold, these two beautiful palettes arrived at my mailbox and I was so excited. So you're probably wondering, Karen, why are you holding two identical palettes? It's because Sydney Grace has done it again. They created the beautiful Be Mine palette and they did a light version and a dark version just to be as inclusive as they could be. And I really appreciate that about Sydney Grace. So let me tell you guys really quick about this palette. So it's their new 15-pan Valentine inspired palette and it's available in light and deep, and it's launching on January the 26th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is a Wednesday, and 9 a.m. Pacific Standard is 11 p.m. Central and noon Eastern Standard Time. So if you are in a different time zone, make sure you're setting your alarms appropriately. I have missed more eyeshadow palette launches than I care to admit because I didn't look up my time zone. These are going to be priced at $52. I do have a non-affiliated code with Sydney Grace, so you can save some money when you shop. It's KHMAKEUP. I'm assuming my code will work with this new launch, but I'm also not 100% sure. So, I mean, try it. If it works, great. You get to save some money, right? And they're also having a sale with the launch of the Be Mine palette. They are having a restock sale. This sale will include only the items that sold out before or during their Black Friday sale. The Be Mine palette is not included. The restock sale will start on January 26th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard and will end January 31st at 8:59 a.m. Pacific Standard. Sale items will be 25% off. No coupon code is needed. The discount will be applied automatically at checkout. The Enduring palette and the Coffee Talk palette will be restocking and on sale that day as well. So that's really exciting. I kind of want to grab the Coffee palette as well as the Colorful palette they launched during their Christmas in July sale. I kept humming and hawing about picking those up and then they sold out and then I couldn't make up my mind, and you know how it is. Anyway, that is all the logistical information that I wanted to give you guys about this big launch that's happening. And now let's get into swatches because I swatched the light version, the dark version, and then I swatched the 6 different shades that are different in each of the palettes side by side so you could get a thorough look at the shades. So let's go ahead and roll into that footage. Okay, so these are the swatches of the light version of the Be Mine palette. Oh my goodness, the shimmers are so gorgeous. Those last 4-5 shimmers are stunning. So let me give you the shade names. The shade names are the same for both palettes. So we have Smooch, All Mine, Baby Cakes, Love Me, Romance, Flirty, Soulmates, Darling, Pucker Up, Cupid, Crush on You, Eye Candy, I Love You, Smitten, and My Person is the black matte shade. So these are so stunning. I can't wait to put the metallics on my eyes because they look so good. Okay, so here are the swatches for the dark palette. And as you will see in the next set of swatches, because I swatched the shades that are the 6 different shades that they have, like the light and the deep version. So everything else other than those 6 shades are same in both the palettes. So you really don't need to buy both, that's for sure. I would just go with whichever one you have your preferred shades in. Some people really like lighter neutral mattes, and some people really enjoy darker shades. Like this one, for example, called All Mine, is a different shade in the light and the dark, and I really like how this looks like a more mustardy shade in the deep palette. So if I had to buy one, I think I would pick the deep version, just because I think those shades are a little bit more flattering on my skin tone, but I could make either of them work in my opinion. So just wanted to show you those. Okay guys, so I swatched the shades that are different. So the Be Mine palette comes in both a light and a deep version. The difference between the palettes are the shadows. And so there's 6 shadows. Both palettes were created to look very similar, but we did deepen a few of the shadows to complement darker skin tones. So let me show you the different ones. So this side is the light side. This is the dark palette down here. And so the shades that are different, so the first swatch is the light version. The second swatch is the deep version. So we have Smooch. We have All Mine. Then we have Love Me. We have Flirty, we have Soulmates, and we have Darling. So only 2 of the metallic shadows have a light and a deep version, and then 4 of the mattes have light and deep versions. And Sydney Grace has been doing this now with pretty much all of their palettes. And I love to see that they did this with the Be Mine palette as well. Now the shades are pretty subtle as far as the differences go, but that can make a huge difference depending on your undertone. I appreciate that they take that extra step to accommodate different skin tones as much as possible. There's much bigger brands with way bigger budgets than Sydney Grace probably that don't take this step, so I definitely think they deserve credit for doing this. So I think you guys can see very clearly now the difference in the shades. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed those swatches. Let me know if this new style is helpful to you guys. I'm trying something new. I got a new tripod and I'm trying to improve. So let me know what you guys think of that. And now it's time to test these puppies on my eyes. I will say I have swatched the palette. The quality feels excellent, and so I have no doubt that I'm going to be very impressed. So I think I'm going to use the deep one. I think honestly whichever one you get, it'll be fine because the shades are really beautiful whether you go light or dark. And I'm going to do 2 different looks. So I'm going to do a mauve look, and of course I'm going to do like a grungy olive tone look. So let's start off with the mauve one, and I'm going to go into the shade Soulmates, and I'm going to use that as my crease shade. This color is so perfect. Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. Oh, I love it. Okay, next I'm going to go into the shade Darling, which is the shade right next to Soulmate. And I'm just going to put that in the crease as well. So pretty. And then we're going to use the shade Pucker Up, which I'm going to put on the kind of outer corner because it's a little bit darker. And you guys know how I like to create a kind of smoky look with a darker shade on the outer corner like this. This palette has such beautiful shades in it. It's very simple, but combined with the fact that it's the Sydney Grace formula and a grungy color story, I can see a lot of people getting really excited about this palette. Like, it's not a neutral palette, but it kind of could lean like neutral, cool neutral cool tone kind of vibes. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, so now I want a different brush, kind of like a tapered blender. So I'm just grabbing this one from ColourPop. And I'm going to go into the black shade called My Person. And I'm just going to tap that on the outer corner as well, just to deepen things up. And I like using a brush like this because you can place the shade, but you can also blend with it because it has a way to diffuse the shadows. And now I'm going to go back into the blending brush and just blend. Okay, so for lid shade, I'm going to go in with, I think, Smooch, Flirty, and I Love You, or maybe Cupid. I don't know. There's a lot of options. So I have a flat brush. I think I'm going to stick to the pinks, actually, because they're so pretty. So I'm going to start off with Flirty, and it's like a champagne pink shade. It's actually kind of like the color of my wedding dress. If you guys didn't know, fun fact about me, I wore a blush pink wedding dress. My mom was so unhappy with me until my actual wedding day, and she told me I looked so beautiful. It was so funny because I'm an only child. Also, fun fact, if you didn't know, I'm an only child. And my mom was like, I can't believe you're not gonna wear white. And I was like, Mom, it's so pretty. It looks so good with my skin tone. La da 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 da. And so I went with the dress, even though I knew that it was like not traditional. And I don't regret it for a second. Okay, next I'm gonna go into the shade Cupid, which is like a mauve-y shade. I'm just using the same brush, picking up a bunch of product and giving it a nice spray. And I'm just gonna put that starting in the middle. And I'm just tapping that on to give it a nice gradient effect. I mean, I don't think anyone would notice that I'm using 3 different shades on the lid here. But you know what? I'll know, and that's all that matters to me. Next, I'm going to go into I Love You, which is a deep burgundy shade. And we're going to spray it, and that's going to go right on the outer corner. Just where I put that black shade, just to help blend the mattes with the shimmers. I really like that. I like doing the darker shimmer on the outer corner because it really helps mesh things so nicely, and it looks seamless, but there's 3 different shadows on my eyelid, which I appreciate. And then I'm just going to use my blending brush and just blend. And it's very, very subtle, but I can tell that there's a difference. So that is the eye look on that side. Now I need a pencil in the waterline so I can finish up this look. So I'm going to use my favorite ColourPop pencil. We're going to use Charmer in the waterline here. This color is perfect if you like to do mauve eyeshadow looks and you don't want to use a black eyeliner. Okay, so I'm grabbing a little pencil brush. I'm going to go into the shade Darling, which is a matte shade, and we're going to put that on the outer corner and just bring it in. So pretty. And then I'm going to go into Pucker Up, which is the dark mauve shade on the lower lash line, but sticking kind of to the outer corner. And then I'm going to take a little bit of My Person. Okay, love that for me. And then I'm going to go into the shade Flirty in the light version of this palette. And we're going to use that as the inner corner shade. Ooh, that's so pretty. It's much lighter than the Flirty shade in the dark version, just so you guys know. Now we're going to do this side, and I am dying to use the shade All Mine from the Deep palette. So I'm just grabbing this MAC brush. This is a 217, and I'm going to coat that really nicely with the shade All Mine. And we're going to throw that in the crease. Basically my skin tone. It's basically my skin tone. It's so subtle. But I see it and it's beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to go into the shade Love Me, which has a deep version and a light version in this palette as well. And we're just going to put that in the crease. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to lie, I haven't used a Sydney Grace eyeshadow in a while. And I remember now why I love these eyeshadows so much. The mattes are just like seamless and you can just sit here and like blend all day long. I think I want to do a 3 looks video with this palette too. I was gonna do a 3 looks video, but I figured I'd get this video up first in case you guys wanted to see like some first impressions. And then hopefully by the end of this week, I can give you guys a 3 looks video. So I'm going to go into the shade Romance with that same brush. And I'm just going to keep that on the very, very outer corner. Just going to tap that. Ooh, that's such a pretty color. Oh my goodness, that's pretty. I think this palette's going to do really well because, like I said, it's not quite a neutral palette, but it's neutral enough where if you want like a little bit of color, it does have that for you, but it also is like a great everyday palette if you're not like overly into color, which I think is like the sweet spot of this palette. I'm going to take that pencil brush I was using earlier and just start working on my lower lash line because I feel like it, and this color is just begging to be pulled down into the waterline. Okay, for lid shades, we have so many options. I am so overwhelmed on what shades to use. I'm going to start off with the shade Baby Cakes though, because that is just like the most beautiful olive green. Oh, that's so pretty. I bought it like almost all the way on the lid, and then I figured I could take some of this shade Eye Candy, which is a grungy green, and I'm going to place that in between the 2 shades. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the shade Crush on You, and I'm just going to throw that on the very outer edge. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I don't know what it is. I just love how everything just like, it looks like it melted on my eye. I'm going to get All Mine, which is that crease color, and I'm just going to throw that on the lower lash line. And I'm going to take the shade Smooch, which is the first shade. It's like a champagne color. And I'm going to use that as the inner corner. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Baby Cakes and pull that down on the waterline as well. Okay, so for eye pencil, I'm going to try this BH Cosmetics pencil in the shade Warm Brown. That worked pretty nice. Not as good as my Charlotte Tilbury, but still pretty good. Okay, so the eye looks are done. I just need to throw on some mascara, grab a lip color, and I will be right back to show you guys the final looks. Okay guys, we threw on some mascara and a lip shade, and here is the look. So let me tell you everything else that's on my face. Just so you guys know, I'll try and link everything for you as well. Okay, so let's start off with the lip color. This is the shade Samantha from Unearthly Cosmetics. This is their satin lipstick formula. I love this formula. One of my favorites from last year, and I do have lip swatches of these on my Instagram stories if you want to check out, but this formula is super comfortable, and I will say this shade is definitely out of my comfort zone, but that's why I chose it, because it's kind of a bright pink and I thought it would pair really well with the mauve shade eye and the fact that this is like a Valentine's theme palette, and I mean pink just automatically reminds me of love, so that's why I chose that shade. And then for blush today, I'm wearing Jaclyn Cosmetics Loverboy. I'm obsessed with this color, honestly. It's a beautiful formula. And then foundation is my new favorite combo, the concealer from NARS. This is a soft matte. That's been out forever. And then their new foundation, the light reflecting foundation in the shade Syracuse. I feel like I really am enjoying this foundation. And then for highlighter, I did use the Danessa Myricks. This is her Dew Wet Balm in the shade Morning Dew. And I'm going to have my Danessa Myricks video coming up, so make sure you're subscribed so you can see that. And then I have the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer in the shade Tan for my bronzer shade. And I also did use a little bit of this guy, the contour one from Charlotte Tilbury. I did pick that up during the last Sephora sale. And then I also have on over the Morning Dew shade this highlighter, which is the shade Venus Nectar from the Bridgerton face palette. Such a pretty peachy highlighter. I love that so much. So those are all the other products I use to make these looks, and I love them so much. I'm also obsessed with these earrings. I just picked these up from Francesca's. I don't know if I can link them. I bought them in store, but if I can find them, I'll definitely link them for you guys. Oh my gosh, they have such awesome earrings at that store. I bought like 3 pairs the other day, so I was like dying to wear these. I don't really think they go with this side of my face, but you know what? Here we are, we're making them work. So that is all that. And then I do want to do some quick like side-by-side comparisons just to show you guys the last Love theme palette Sydney Grace did. So this is my Enduring Love. This is in the old packaging. They have repackaged this now, so it doesn't come in the tin packaging anymore. It'll come in the cardboard packaging. And I just wanted to show you guys kind of side by side the two palettes, because there are definitely some similarities in these two palettes. Some of those grungy shades and some of those pink shades look very similar. So if you have the Enduring Love palette and you're on like a no buy or a low buy, then maybe you can just go back into this palette and create these two eye looks. I feel pretty confident that you will be able to get something very close with this palette. I'm so tempted to buy the new packaging because I don't know that I love that tin packaging. So I'm really glad Sydney Grace went in the way of the cardboard packaging. And then I just wanted to compare the Mel Thompson and Sydney Grace collaboration palette, the Tiny Marvels palette, with the new Be Mine palette. I think there are like very slight similarities, but not so many. And I just know how much this palette is loved and how much Mel Thompson is loved by the beauty community. And so I just wanted to give you guys a side-by-side and just remember her in this moment as well, because I didn't really make a video addressing her passing. I didn't know her personally, but this palette means a lot to me, and I'm so glad I have it. And I'm just so sorry for Mel's friends and family and their loss. And I know it happened a while ago, but I still want to acknowledge that, and that she was a very important person in the community and the beauty community as well. So I will forever treasure this, but I just wanted to show you guys the two palettes next to each other in case you were wondering if the Be Mine was similar to the Tiny Marvels palette. Okay, so now that we got the comparisons out of the way, let's talk about these palettes. I think they're fabulous. I really do. I will say the one thing is that you probably don't need both. You can decide if you want the light or dark. The shades aren't different enough to justify having both. So make sure you're going over those swatches and seeing which ones you think might work best with your skin tone and your undertone. I will say if you have a pretty big Sydney Grace collection, you might have shades that are very similar to these ones already. What I like about the palettes though is that they are in palette form, which can be a big thing for some people. Personally, I love having eyeshadow palettes. I love having the color stories already curated for me. I do have a lot of Sydney Grace single shadows because for the longest time that's the only way you could try their eyeshadows was in single form, but I love that they're doing eyeshadow palettes because some people just have a really hard time curating color stories. So if these colors appeal to you, highly recommend going the palette route. If you are trying to buy less, then I would suggest taking a look at your Sydney Grace collection. I know they had 2 bundles that came out, I think in 2019 or so. There was like a mountain and a something else. There was like a green bundle and like a more burgundy bundle, and I feel like if you have those, you might have a lot of the shades that are included in these palettes. So I just want to give you guys the pros and cons. As always, I think the quality is excellent. Like I said when I was doing my makeup, I haven't used my Sydney Grace eyeshadows in a while, and it's always fun to be reminded of how good these are, how well they blend, how easy to use they are. So I will always stand by their quality because it's one of my favorite formulas. So very thankful that I have these with me. Like I said, I want to do more looks with this, so I'm going to attempt to do 3 looks and try and get that up by the end of the week. Let me know in the comments if that's something you're interested in or not, because if you're not interested, I'm not going to spend my time creating 3 more looks. I've already given you guys 2, so do with that what you will. And yeah, that is it for this video. All the launch information will be in the description box for you guys as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions that I missed in the comments. You know I love chatting to you down there, and I will see you in a new video very soon. Bye guys!